North of Salisbury, at Great Wishford, Oak Apple Day is an important time for all Wishfordians, marking as it does their rights to collect firewood from nearby Groveley Woods. The Oak Apple celebrations form part of a tradition that continues today, and judging by the 16mm films made by Alec Moulding in the 1950s, little has changed. Alec's son Richard, who continues to run his father's building firm at nearby South Newton, remains an ardent supporter of the Oak Apple tradition and takes a keen interest in its history.
I was lucky enough to have a family in Wishford, and I used to stay there on the night before and get up at midnight and go round the village. This is 8 years old, 9 years old. Go around the village and wake the village up with the other teenagers, if you like. And then we'd all go to Groveley about dawn and go up there and cut boughs and bring them back down, and great fun. And some men in Wishford there were telling me today they've been doing it for 50 years or more and getting really too old to do it anymore.
We used to have a song in Wishford. We used to go around the houses with a garland. That was a cross of wood decorated with flowers. And we used to say, garlands of roses, sweet pretty posies, what will you give me towards my garland? The 1st of May is May Day, the 4th of May is Fair Day, the 29th is Oaken Bough, and we shall have a holiday.
Bob, what are your earliest recollections of Oak Apple?
Well, I was born in 1922, so it would be about 1927, 28.
Right.
When I sort of took any notice of it.
And you were at Wishford School then?
Yes, I went to Wishford School.
But you did the same things, you went to Groveley and got your bough.
Oh yes.
In those days?
Yes, oh yes.
And
that was the idea.
And the,
if you went to Groveley, if only one bough was brought back, that kept the rights open.
Yeah, yeah. What about, did they have the midnight band? When did that start then? Going around the village and waking everybody up?
Well, that started with my elder brothers, and I don't know what caused them to do it, but they went out. And
this is after the war or before the war?
Oh Lord, this is
well before the war.
1930 something.
All right, yeah.
When Frank and Fred and all them, and Ted Curley and
yeah, I remember
all
that.
them,
yeah.
They threatened to take action against them.
Yeah.
But the rector in the time, he was chairman of the club, and he said, if you get anything fine or anything, I'll get you, I'll pay you. But it never got to that. They just accepted it.
Excellent. It still carries on. They call it the rough band now, don't they?
Yeah. I just don't agree with that.
It used to be the midnight band.
Midnight band or the midnight revellers.
Yeah, I've been round it myself when I was a child. Why is it so important to you Wishfordians to keep it going?
Well, same as I said. Not in my lifetime, not in 100 years back, but we regarded the wood that we could get from Groveley to be our main source of keeping the house warm and cooking. I mean, there was no electricity, no gas, no bottled gas, and nothing of that.
Time out of mind is the expression used.
Yeah.
In other words, the villagers had the rights to collect firewood from Groveley way back into the Middle Ages, or maybe the Saxon period.
Then the charter was written in 1603.
Yeah.
It's in print.
The charter says, from time out of mind, in 1603.
Yeah. It's
so
long before
obviously
that.
it was way back.
Long before that.
So they're just trying to uphold the rights, that's all. Wishford Oak Apple 1955. That's near Town End Tree. That's the May Queen, Mary Mundy. That's Mrs. King, the school teacher, in the background. All the school children carrying various things, oak boughs, whatever. There's my mother, and that's me in the front there. And 6 sword dancers. One of the floats. I don't know the people there. They're the niche dancers.
How did your father come to make the film?
the 50s?
There was a chap called Cecil Haynes who lived at Ducouchet on the top of West Street, who worked for my father's firm, my firm, builders at South Newton. He was a joiner and he was a fanatic. I remember going to his house with my father when I was young and seeing films on the wall, and my father got the cine camera then in the 40s, I think, or late 40s, 1950 perhaps, something like that. And he did a couple of old capitals, which is great now. At the time we thought, what a joke, if you like, you know. Now video cameras and things, and things have taken over, and I'm sure everybody's got them at home now. I was a little chap then, really. It seemed like a massive thing. There were lots more people here, lots more. The people had less to do, didn't they, really? So something like a Girt Walk Apple Day, they used to call it, was a big thing in the calendar of a Wishfordian. They all wake up about 4 o'clock in the morning and have what they call the rough band, and they go around the village and wake everybody up and upset everybody who doesn't want to know about Oak Apple, if you like. And then about an hour or so later, they all troop off to Groveley Woods. This end of the village goes up that way, and the other end goes up that way to Salisbury. And then they cut boughs and then carry them back down to the village. Sounds crazy, doesn't it, really? And they choose the best one to walk around the village with, the members do, in the procession, and they decorate their houses with boughs. And then about 10 o'clock or so, they all troop off into the cathedral to have their vows reassessed, I think that's the word, something like that. And the precentor met them in there, he was talking about it just now. They go in there and they do their little dance. They've got the 6 ladies that do the dance. And then the dinner is at 12 and the procession at 2, and going back years, they used to have Beating the Retreat and goodness knows what, but there's a sort of a fete here. It used to be a fair with a big wheel and dodgems, but now it's just a little fete. But it still carries on. Maypole dancing, yes, it was a big thing at Wishford School, very big thing. I used to think we spent more time than we should have done. We practiced for hours and hours with ropes instead of braids, and wide boys were forever snapping the ropes. But we did practice, and we did such a lot, and yeah, I suppose it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable, I have to say that, really. And it had to be right for the day, and we did it twice, and it probably was half an hour or more each session, if you like, doing it. And I did it for 4 years. In those days, boys did it. They didn't worry about it at all. Boys and girls, we did it together. It was the way it should be, but nowadays it seems boys don't want to do it. It's keeping up traditions, isn't it? Which slip away, and I do fear that it might slip away, actually. It's just nothing like it was, if you like. There are a few faithful people. There's a lot of faithful people that put a lot of work into the procession, you'll see. But it's short now compared to what it used to be. It used to be massive. My grandfather was the youngest founder member in 1892, when he was about 13, I think, something like that. And my family's been involved ever since, but all through the years, and my uncle was secretary for 25 years. All sorts of members of the family have done all sorts of things, and I'm one of the ones that want to keep it going. It's a celebration of human rights, I suppose, really. Claiming wood from Lord Pembroke's land in Groveley, which people did and got crucified for it, if you like. And the village won their rights to do so, and hopefully they'll carry on the tradition.